The female CEO took just one sip of the chicken soup given to her by the silly woman, and surprisingly, she tasted the flavor that reminded her of her mother from her childhood. She immediately realized that this seemingly silly woman in front of her could very well be her long-lost biological mother, but by the time she snapped out of it and wanted to ask, the silly woman had already disappeared. She immediately ordered her assistant to investigate everything about this silly woman. Her memories involuntarily drifted back to 20 years ago. At that time, her twin brother craved chicken soup, and convinced their silly mother to steal a neighbor's 20-year-old hen to make the soup. But before they could take more than a couple of sips, the neighbors stormed in with others, looking for the missing chicken. As soon as they reached the door, they smelled the fragrant chicken soup, and seeing the chicken feathers all over the ground, they immediately concluded that the silly woman had stolen their chicken. The neighbor, furious, rushed forward and began beating the silly woman. The little girl, seeing her mother being bullied, shouted that it was her brother who wanted the chicken soup and made their mother steal the chicken. The brother, fearing he would be beaten, falsely accused his sister of wanting the chicken soup. Their grandmother, who favored boys over girls, pushed the little girl to the ground after hearing this. The villagers clamored to send the silly woman to the police station to prevent her from causing more trouble in the future. The little girl, fearing that her mother would indeed be taken away, lied and claimed that it was she who had been craving the chicken soup and had stolen the chicken, saying they should take her instead. The angry neighbor dragged the little girl away and threw her into the wilderness. 3 days later, a wealthy man passed by, saw the pitiful little girl, and took her home to raise her. And so, 20 years passed, and the grown-up girl inherited her adoptive father's business, becoming a billionaire CEO. However, she never gave up on searching for her biological mother. One day, the CEO came to a mountain village to inspect a demolition project. As soon as she entered the village, she saw a silly woman waving a shovel, refusing to let them tear down her house, saying that if her house was demolished, her daughter wouldn't be able to find her way home. However, her vanity-seeking son told his mother that only by demolishing the house and getting money could they continue to look for his sister. The silly woman, hearing that she could find her daughter, happily agreed. The CEO felt a strange sense of familiarity as she looked at the house in front of her, unaware that this was the very home she had lived in as a child, and that silly woman was her biological mother. They missed their first chance to recognize each other just like that. After the house was demolished, the son took the demolition money and went with his wife's mother family to choose a villa, forcing his silly mother to live in a cowshed. The silly woman heard from a neighbor that her daughter-in-law was pregnant. She immediately went out and collected recyclables for 7 days, then used the money she earned to buy a chicken, made chicken soup, and took it to the city to nourish her daughter-in-law. However, as soon as she entered the city, she had an accident. The CEO got out of the car to check, but suddenly felt dizzy due to low blood sugar. The silly woman saw this and handed her a bowl of chicken soup. After taking a sip, the CEO felt that the taste was exactly the same as the one her mother used to make, so she immediately ordered her assistant to investigate everything about the woman. Meanwhile, the silly woman, holding the chicken soup, found her son, and asked him to take it home to nourish his wife. But the son was troubled by the $200,000 down payment, as his girlfriend had said she would only agree to marry him and have the baby if they bought a villa. But even with the demolition money, they were still $200,000 short.